Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Grace of a Military Child in Life podcast. Military families are not like your traditional family. They are strong, brave, resilient, and some of the most incredible people I know. My name is Gracie, a U.S. Army brat, and I am your host. I am honored to be able to give military family members like myself a place for them to share their stories and experiences in the military life. Stay tuned for this week's guest. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Grace of a Military Child in Life. Today, I'm here with Maura. So, Maura, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. So, I should have mentioned too, you're a military spouse, you're a Navy spouse. So, can you kind of start by giving us an overview of what that life has been and is like for you?
Yeah. So, my husband has been in the Navy for about 17 years now. We've been together, when this episode comes out, we'll be together 13 years. So it has been a journey, cross country, overseas for us. When I met my husband, he had just gotten verbal orders to Hawaii. So, we were long distance, until we were married, actually. And so, yeah, to sum it up in one word, it's been a journey. But I've met some amazing people along the way and, just a lot of wonderful experiences too.
Yeah. And, this is a life that you take the good with the bad. There are so many hard things, like you mentioned, long distance completely up until you were married. That's not necessarily something you'd expect or something that would just be easy. And so, you take those hard things, but then, there's so many good things that come with it. And the people and the community that you build is one of them. And that's just, for me, at least, it's the highlight of military life.
Yes, I would agree as well.
Yeah. And, the journey of moving around is always an adventure and a fun one too, because you never know where you're going to go and what it's going to be like, because you don't necessarily expect to live all around the country or even all around the world. And so you kind of get thrown into it and you don't know what to expect from everywhere. It's like moving to a whole new culture everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was funny I met my husband at a wedding, actually. And like I said, he had, like, the day before the wedding, he had gotten his verbal orders. And so he, told me, and I was like, oh, I've never been to Hawaii. And he was like, you should come out and visit me. And I did. And then I moved there.
I will be there.
Yeah. So it's crazy how life works out.
Yeah. And that's kind of the fun part of it, because you don't necessarily, you hear about so many duty stations that it's just in the middle of nowhere or boring and not fun at all. But then you'll get the fun ones like Hawaii. And it's so cool because growing up, most likely everyone wants to go to Hawaii. That's on everyone's bucket list. So being able to say, oh, yep, I've been to Hawaii or I've lived in Hawaii, it's really cool.
Yeah. And I think even when you get the, quote, undesirable location, it's just about finding your people there or one thing that you love. If it's like a restaurant or, a beach or a park or something like that, you have to be able to find, your happy spot wherever you are.
Right. And it doesn't matter how big or small that thing is. Like, it could be just some random, I don't know, like swing set,
Yeah.
in a city. And that's what you always find happiness at. And it can take some searching to find that spot or to find that happiness in that area. But it's beyond important to do that, especially because having a job can be challenging as a spouse, or, really having anything substantial that takes up, a majority of your day,
Hmm.
it can be hard to, find things to do in an area. So you just have to like really just get out there and explore. And if you've got kids, like take the kids to different parks or museums or,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be, you have to make the most of wherever you are.
Definitely. And, I always, whenever we move somewhere, even if I can't find a job, I always try and volunteer, whether it's with a different military organization, like I've volunteered with the USO and Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, to find my people there also and connection in a community, but also to give back to the community that we are a part of, even if it's just for a year or so.
Yeah. And I think volunteering is so important, especially in those military related organizations,
Hmm.
because it's you understand it. You're currently
Hmm.
living the life. And so it's easier to help those families who are actually going through the life too. And it's not it's a mutual level of understanding that you have with each other.
Definitely. And I think, especially for military spouses or family members who are struggling to find work, it is important to remember that volunteer work can be put on a resume and does look
Yes.
very good on a resume.
Yeah.
Because just because you're not paid for your work, you are getting work experience, whether it's working in an office and answering phones or, talking to people,
Yeah.
your personal skills. So,
Yeah, I think that's a huge point to remember because every time I volunteer, it's like, oh, this is, it's fun, but you don't
hmm.
necessarily think of the value that you can get out of it from the work side. And
Yes.
so you have the opportunity to put it on your resume and it makes you stand out too, I think, more than other applicants because you've had so much volunteer experience and it looks better and
Hmm.
you can feel better at the end of the day too, knowing that you volunteered, you made a difference. And sometimes that's more valuable than the monetary, pay from a job.
Yeah, it can definitely feel good. And, sometimes even organizations, if they can't pay you, maybe, they'll provide lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, it's about making connections whenever you PCS to a new place. And volunteering can be a great way to make friends and make those connections.
Yeah, exactly. You're not only like making friends, making connections, but you're making a difference in the community. And even
Hmm.
volunteering outside of base too, like you can really integrate yourself into the new community that you're in and you can find your happy place through that and find somewhere that is just you feel at peace at. And so there are so many benefits to it.
Hmm.
So I think that that's a huge part of military life too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So can you kind of tell us, because you also work with the Military Mom Collective. So
Mhm.
can you kind of tell us about your involvement with that and what that's been like for you?
Yeah, so the Military Mom Collective is really just an online resource for military spouse and family members. We provide resources through our website, our social media accounts, and we also have a podcast, The Red, White, and Boo. And so I have been a follower of the Military Mom Collective since becoming a mom 7 years ago. And the Military Mom Collective was just always really there for me. We have a team of
Yeah.
contributors, military spouses and military moms that are really through in all stages of motherhood. We have new moms, we have grandmas, so you're getting resources and tips from all stages of life, really.
Yeah.
I am the social media and content manager there. So if you are on our Instagram or Facebook page, chances are I'm the person behind it. But we really do work together. And again, it's all about, creating a community. And I just love the community that we have. And I always just value all of our contributors' inputs and their advice on life. So
Yeah.
yeah, whenever we want to be that resource for military spouses and family members. So if you are moving to a new duty station, we hope that we have an article that can help you, the 5 best parks in Jacksonville, Florida, or,
Yeah.
if you are a parent dealing with, your child applying to colleges or even joining the military, we have articles and contributors that are here to help you for that. So, yeah, I'm just so honored to be a part of the group because, like I said, they were there for me when I was a new mom and had recently PCS to Japan. I saw an article on there about shopping at the Daiso. If you guys don't know what the Daiso is, it's essentially like a Japanese dollar tree.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, and everything's like 100 yen, which is about $1. And there was a contributor that was just talking about like what she buys for her kids at the Daiso. And I was like, I've never, I've heard about this store, but I was, a little timid to go to, not speaking the language. It can be hard to go out and
Right.
immerse yourself in that culture. But I was like, if she can do it, I can do it.
I love
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we talk about community and finding community, everywhere you go, but I also think it is so valuable the communities that are formed online nowadays.
Hmm.
You can really find some incredible people. You can find, even I have found lifelong friends through it. And it's so special to have that. And I love what you guys are doing over at the Military Mom Collective because there's so much that goes into military life, and then you add being a mom on top of it, and I am
Yeah.
sure that is just a struggle
Hmm.
and a joy but a struggle at the same time. And there's so many things that you have to think about when you move and when you go to
Hmm.
these new places and enrolling in school, and then
Yeah.
when you have a kid like me and who says, I mean, join the military, like, what do you expect with that? So I think that it's so valuable to have all of that in one spot. And, they're articles, so they don't necessarily go away. So an article written
Hmm.
years ago is going to be valuable to someone in the future too. So
Exactly.
it's so special what you guys are
Hmm.
doing.
Oh, thank you. And like you said, it is a wonderful community. And I just love interacting on our Instagram page with our followers. And I consider them friends too. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I have to remind myself, like, well, I don't actually know this person, but but it feels like we do.
Yeah, especially commenting on, each other's posts and then
Hmm.
messaging back and forth. Like you really feel like you know someone.
Yes.
And then it's always fun when you can go visit them or when you're
Hmm.
stationed near them and you can meet in the
Yeah.
middle or something like that. And you can finally like actually meet someone. So I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. So to kind of this is a hard question to ask sometimes, but um, what piece of advice would you give to another military spouse, another mom going through this, or, you can give multiple if you want to, but what piece of advice would you give to someone who is similar to you going through this lifestyle?
I think it may be intimidating at first, but just put yourself out there. Whether it's, joining a book club to meet new friends, or like I said, volunteering at an organization on base. It really is about making connections to help you through the hard times, because there's going to be hard times.
Yeah.
There's going to be lonely nights, but you just need to find your people. And it may be intimidating to show up to like a family readiness group event or a spouses club event, but go be yourself and you will find your people. It may take some time, but don't stop putting yourself out there because, like there's going to be lonely nights. You're going to want to have those people who you can text and vent to, or just be like, hey, did you watch The Housewives last night? Let's talk about that, like to talk about the real stuff, but then also talk about, the things that help you forget the real stuff.
Yes. And I have heard so many people too, just to have those people when you need someone, and it's not necessarily that you need someone to talk to, about the real stuff, but it's someone where it's like, hey, can you just come and sit and watch TV with me? Like, we don't have to talk, but we just need, like, I just need someone.
Yeah.
And, those are, it's the best to have those, because even growing up, I would remember going over to a friend's house and we would just watch movies. And, I know that's something kids do more frequently. But even that, it's like, oh, well, I'm actually understood because I'm around people who understand me. And we might not be talking about it. We might not be doing anything, but they know that this life is not easy.
Yeah.
And we're in this together. And even if it takes sitting here watching movies and eating popcorn, then, that's what it takes to get through this.
Yeah. One of my friends that I made soon after we moved to Jacksonville, Florida, we actually bonded over the first season of Love is Blind. And now here we are, like 4.5 years later, still texting about the newest seasons of Love is Blind. But if we hadn't put each other, put ourselves out there to be like, are you watching this new weird show on Netflix? We may not have become friends. So,
right.
There are people out there that are like you.
Yes. And the Facebook groups can be, they have their own, drama and whatever. But join them and make the random post. Like,
definitely. Yes.
Ask the random question. If there's one thing you like to do and you're like, oh, nobody else likes to do this too, put it out there. Somebody is going to, or somebody knows of somebody who's going to. And it's so important to do that. And, like you said, you never know when you're going to bond over the little things that you might think are ridiculous.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I'm a huge proponent too. If you are a reader or you want to get into reading, join a spouse's book club. I've met some of the most wonderful people and lifelong friends through military spouse book clubs. I know you're a reader.
Yes.
Yes. And you get, new book suggestions that you may have never heard of. So
yeah. And like through book clubs, I have found so many genres that I never thought I would like. Like, I love nonfiction books, and I thought that was just my thing. And then introduced me to historical fiction. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. So
yeah.
You get book recommendations, genre recommendations, you get everything. And it's
definitely
just, it's the best place to meet people. And you're all just there. You read the same book, you have the same conversation over it. And I don't know, book clubs are just the best. And I'm glad to see that they're all over the place. I cannot wait to get to my first duty station and be like, I'm starting a book club. So.
Yes, do it.
Yes, it is going to be so fun. But I wanted to ask also, so where can listeners get involved or get connected with the Military Mom Collective? And technically you on social media.
Yeah. So we're at Military Mom Collective across all social media. And then our website is military.momcollective.com. And then our podcast is The Red, White, and Boo. Our episodes come out on Thursdays. And I'm at Maura_Alice on Instagram. And yes, we would love to have you all come on our page. We do open contributor calls twice a year, always looking for new voices to be shared. They're typically in the fall, like ahead of holiday season, and then spring ahead of the summer craziness. So we always post those on all platforms, our website, our Instagram, everything. So
That's awesome. So when this airs, hopefully the fall one shouldn't be too far away.
Exactly. Yes.
So listen to this, keep it in the back of your mind, and then it's awesome. And I highly suggest everyone be a part of it. I think it's
Thank
so cool.
you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I am so grateful to have had you and to hear more about your story and all of the advice you shared.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be on and looking forward to making new online friends.
Thank you for listening to Grace of a Military Child and Life podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like, follow, and comment. Also, be sure to check out Instagram and Facebook at Grace of a Military Child and Life for more awesome content. For information on the podcast, Military Child Bigs and Littles, Go AMCL blog, or other resources, visit www.goamcl.org. You can also email me at Gracie, that's GRACIE @GOAMCL.org with any questions or comments. To be a guest on the podcast, you can schedule it at www.goamcl.org/schedule a podcast, all one word, or contact me via social media or email. Stay tuned for the next episode where another incredible story is shared.